Anybody actually know what rugby is? Vaguely? Yeah. Anybody pretty much think it's just football, but maybe without pads? You're kind of right. Alright. Rugby is one of the fastest growing sports in America, only behind lacrosse. A lot of people are starting to learn about it, and it's a fun sport. The reason I can speak about this is I actually play rugby. It's my first year here at UCM. We have a program here with about over 30 players. Short story on how I got involved in rugby. So I'm at the involvement fair, minding my own business, trying to get into a business club for my major. And I walk past the rugby booth, and this giant of a man, I'm talking, this tall, this big, bumps into me, and he's like, "You want to play rugby?" Now I looked at him, and I'm like, well, rugby sounds like fun, but look at the size of you, and look at the size of me. I'm 170, and 30 of that is from my 2 years here in college. And he's just like, "Well, you better outrun me, or else you're probably going to be hurting." So yeah, I'm going to talk about the history of rugby, some of the basics, and then rugby here at UCM. I'll be the one guy who can't work the clicker.
Point down.
Anyways, rugby came from like a soccer type sport. Humans have been playing sports for thousands upon thousands of years. And so yeah, some guy got the bright idea to pick up a ball and run it across the line. Normally they would just throw it, and I don't know how they would score, but like literally like throw it to the side and keep throwing it until eventually they got into the try zone. But one guy by the name of William Webb Ellis decided to pick up the ball and run it across the goal line, and he did it at rugby school, and thus the name rugby. In 1874, the first rugby game is played in America at Cambridge, and it was Harvard versus McGill from Montreal, Canada. And today, rugby is played by all age groups from Pee-wee to professional. Some of the basics on rugby. Teams move the ball forward by either running it or lateraling it back to somebody who's more open so they can run it. Also, if they lateral it, they sometimes save themselves from a big hit, which is nice. They can also kick it in the air and hope that their teammate grabs it, or kick it to get the ball away from their try zone so if somebody fumbles that the other team doesn't pick it up and score. And players play for 80 minutes straight. There's pretty much, other than a halftime and after somebody scores a try, there's no stopping. When a player gets tackled, their teammates ruck over them, so they step over the ball carrier and try to prevent the other team from grabbing a hold of the ball and taking possession of that ball. So it's nonstop. Pretty much, you're getting hit every play, and it can get very, very, very tiring. I won't lie, I've barely survived a full game. Yeah, rugby is pretty similar to American football in some ways, but there's also some key differences. Like you don't throw the ball forward in rugby. We don't wear any pads. The only pads we have is we have a little mouth guard, which they claim protects you somehow. I don't know. This one's like pretty much that big, and yeah. So people can get pretty scuffed up when playing rugby. I got bruises all over me. My legs are really bad. So good thing I wore jeans today. Here at UCM, we have a rugby team that has 33. Actually, we have 36. 3 new guys just joined this week, so congrats to them. It first started in 1972. We've had several names. I honestly do not remember the names. For whatever reason, we got them down. But we've had many different names, and only just recently UCM has allowed us to be called the Mules. We're technically not an athletic organization. We're a club for some reason. We practice 4 days a week. We play various clubs in the Midwest. And yeah, we have a huge game coming up this weekend against Pitt State at Double D Field. So yeah. And those are actual pictures from our game against the Kansas City Blues. And if you look right here, warming the bench, nice and cozy, that's me. It's my first year, so. And yeah, and in conclusion, rugby is a fast-growing sport, and I really have loved playing it for the past couple of weeks, and it's done a lot. I've made a lot of great friends, and had a lot of fun, and my mother would not approve.